Retail. Let's take a look about retail. Why is retail so important and why it will pump the price? Because we haven't really seen retail as the way we have in 2021.
Are surging. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So today has started off actually on a green note for XRP. Many others are red throughout the space. So it's very nice to see this taking place. And we did actually have XRP run all the way up to 3.
So yeah, when XRP goes down, or well, when XRP is up all the time, when other cryptos are down 20%, again, there's a lot of cryptos down 25%. That's a very good sign. What does this tell me? That the whales are secretly buying. They're secretly buying a lot of XRP.
$8.33. Had some nice liquidations taking place. We obviously talked about that huge imbalance that was taking place in terms of open.
You can actually see XRP USDT liquidation heat map, which beats a lot of people who were saying XRP is going to go down, got destroyed.
Interest yesterday. You guys can see that this still just looks absolutely disgusting. There's still so much short leverage above here that when the market does in fact kick it into high gear, we could see XRP go on a very sizable run, set a new all-time high, really truly accelerate towards those prices we were talking about, trying to push towards $5. But you know, that's a discussion for a different day. I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video, but what you need to know is that, again, people are easing off of short interest just a little bit because there's a lot of questions about what this week is going to be.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of people right now who have been saying that the market is going bad got absolutely destroyed. We went the opposite direction. Like everybody who's hating on XRP is now getting punished.
All the way up to almost a new all-time high in the early hours of today's daily candle. And now we'll see how things progress as the day gets underway. Right now it's about 7:20 a.m. Central Standard Time. It came out that Michael Saylor did some more strategy, did some more accumulation in terms of BTC. So we typically.
So yeah, they're buying BTC. If we get someone like Michael Saylor buying XRP, I feel like XRP would, start at like $6, $7.
See a sell-off to kind of start the day. So we'll see if we can kind of get it in motion as the day progresses. We talked about Ethereum yesterday. We still have not extended this breakout above 4250. So again, like I've talked about in other videos today, just be prepared if the market does pull back to about 4100 in terms of Ethereum. That is well within the realm of reality. As long as we hold support, that would be a good bounce spot. If not, then just watch this 20-day moving average. Okay. But we are making.
So look at this. Ripple XRP is still not even at its all-time highs in terms of Google search trends. I've been calling this Google search trends because this usually also is a good indicator of the price. When we saw Ethereum XRP, price go up as Google search trends went up, that is what we're seeing right now. We're still about 37% or 37 out of 100 before XRP is most popular it ever was. So again, there is a lot of new investors or new buyers or just new people talking about XRP. Just like everybody talked about Shiba Inu in 2021, I feel like XRP could be the next big thing we see right now.
Those moves, altcoin search traffic hitting new record highs. This is exactly where we want to be right now, and that is what we're seeing is retail starting to pay attention. And where this gets really fun is something that Raoul Pal was actually suggesting, and I've talked about in terms of ADA and SHIB and other assets as well. And what he said was, sorry, but people are going to buy XRP, Doge, and Cardano, whether you like it or not. I've said this for a long time.
So I don't understand this. Why would people buy Doge or Cardano when Doge and Cardano are down from this year? They are buying XRP because it's amazingly up. It's 350%. Bitcoin is 90% up. And XRP is 350% up this year. So why would people buy Doge and Cardano? I do not understand this article. It makes no sense to me. But Raoul Pal sharpened a long-running argument about how retail capital enters crypto markets, placing nominal price with a single unit cost. Now, this is what he means. They will not buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. They will most likely, in my opinion, buy XRP because XRP, they will see, oh, this stuff is $3. Let me get like 20 of XRP. That's going to be $60. And if it grows to the price of Bitcoin, it's going to be amazingly, I'm going to be a millionaire. Of course, it doesn't work that way in crypto, but most people won't understand. And that's why people bought SHIB, because they thought it will go to the dollar. Then they would be like millionaires overnight, right? If it pumps to $1. They don't understand what the supply is. But XRP is literally when, people could start learning about it and holding it. There's nothing wrong about buying something and then understanding how it works. And they're going to see Ethereum, well, pretty expensive. Bitcoin, I can barely afford lunch. So why, just a minority of people, like maybe top 0.1% can actually afford one full Bitcoin in a single day. So yeah, Cardano at 78 cents. Elon likes Doge. XRP it's $3. This is going to be the new influx of investors. And again, we're still at that level where we are not at all-time highs, in my opinion. Just considering this, top, it's like 37. So we're not even at half at this point. We're like at 40% of the previous peak of 2024. And I have a feeling this one will be higher.
This is exactly where we want to be right now. And that is what we're seeing is retail starting to pay attention. And where this gets really fun is something that Raoul Pal was actually suggesting, and I've talked about in terms of ADA and SHIB and other assets as well. And what he said was, sorry, but people are going to buy XRP, Doge, and Cardano, whether you like it or not. I've said this for a long time. Because they're cheap in the absolute term of, how much you pay for a token. So people will do that. And I've mentioned this many times before. When we're going through adoption, there is a reason that things move the way that they do, right? It starts from the top down. You see,
I feel like also an indicator is just like XRP is getting ready with these institutions. And these institutions are buying XRP for cheaper before the big players come in. That's my personal opinion. I feel like that's what's happening. They're buying before the institutions come in.
BTC performing well. BTC has obviously been around the longest in all of crypto. And it's obviously a big thing that is adopted by institutions, governments, et cetera, right? Then you start to see Ethereum perform well. That is phase 2 of the altcoin cycle.
They're going to go for like this market cap, 200 billion by XRP and done.
$100. Holy crap, that's expensive too. Then you start to work your way down. $3 per XRP. Oh, that's pretty darn cheap. I can get quite a few of those for my money. This is exactly what he said, right? That's just how psychology works. He said exactly that. Bitcoin, 116,000. I can barely afford lunch. Ethereum, well, that's pretty expensive. XRP, it's $3. Oh, those are the assets that retail likes to adopt, and that is exactly how we start.
I feel like Raoul Pal is right here. Like people will start buying XRP like candy at this point, especially because they will see that their own bank is working with them. That's another factor. Like they will see, the US government mentioned XRP, let me get some.
You get this kind of trickle-down effect, this boom across the crypto market. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, but this market cycle has been a little trickier than others. And institutional money has kind of changed some of the ways that things are performing or the timelines that we're used to seeing. That's the reason why this year has kind of sucked for the most part. It's because retail has been delayed. And I've talked about this in a couple other videos. And it really seems like we're going to see a cycle that extends into 2026, which would be very different than what we've seen in the past. But this retail suppression has been real. There's been so much.
I feel like 2021 was like when retail came in because it was artificial, more like we weren't expecting so much retail. But there is like Raoul Pal has literally said that they are coming, they're coming in a big wave. And this gave the institutions a head start to actually be the first ones to buy the entire supply of XRP. They got a head start. It's kind of unfair, but institutions might buy it at a later price. So yeah, let that sink in.